Hi, I'm Tim Sonova, and welcome to Work Shouldn't Suck Live, the morning-ish show. On today's episode, we're joined by Kristina Newman-Scott, President of BRIC, found online at bricartsmedia.org. But first, I'm pleased to welcome back to the show everyone's favorite live streaming and podcasting co-host, Lauren Ruffin. Lauren, how's it going today?
It's good, although I'm a little bit stressed, Tim. It's been
Yeah?
cold in Albuquerque, and I have my garden covered, and I could uncover it today, but I don't want my little sprouts to freeze. So I'm really a little bit stressed. But other than that, like, the weather's a little bit better. Life's good.
Okay, good. Well, it sounds like you'll spend some time online looking at different weather forecasts and patterns and stuff like that.
You know me well. You know my obsessive tendencies well.
That's very cool. Well, I'm excited to hear what you choose to do with the garden. But best wishes on that.
Thanks. Yeah.
So today, another amazing guest, Kristina Newman-Scott, who currently serves as the president of BRIC, a leading arts and media institution anchored in downtown Brooklyn, whose work spans contemporary visual and performing arts, media, and civic action. She is the first immigrant and first woman of color to serve in that position, and one of a very few women of color leading a major New York cultural institution. Prior to BRIC, Kristina served as the Director of Culture and State Historic Preservation Officer for the state of Connecticut. She was the Director of Marketing Events and Cultural Affairs for the city of Hartford, Director of Programs at the Boston Center for the Arts, and Director of Visual Arts at Hartford's Real Art Waves. She has received a myriad of awards, honors, and recognitions, including the 2008, including in 2018 when she was presented with the Selena Roberts Odom Award, which recognizes an individual working in arts management who exemplifies extraordinary leadership qualities. Without further ado, Kristina, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
We are doing well.
Doing well.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. Thank you for having me on. I'm clearly I keep editing my bio, and I'm just going to keep working on that. Make it shorter and tighter and shorter. Yeah. I'm going to get it into a tweet version soon, I promise.
Yeah. No, I keep wondering, like, how do we talk about ourselves in 20 seconds or less? It's impossible.
Yeah, I know. It's not. We have to figure that out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another show that you could focus on.
Yeah. Maybe just chopping people's bios.
Yes. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All of us.
The morning chop.
The morning chop. I need it. I know people that need it. Okay.
Yeah. I didn't realize you were a Hartford person. We have the 91 connection.
Yeah, the 91 connection.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hartford. That's where, when I moved from Jamaica, that's where I moved to. Hartford, Connecticut.
Yeah. Boomtown.
Yes. I love me some Hartford. I learned so much, honestly. Learned so much. I have a lot of love for Hartford.
Cool. So how are you? How's your community doing? And I know that you're holed up with family right now. So how's everyone doing during the pandemic?
I mean, I think we're blessed. I feel really fortunate to have my family with me. My mother-in-law, we're with her in her home in Connecticut. It's a little bit, my 10-year-old is doing the online school thing, as most people's children are. I think that my 2-year-old, it's a little bit trickier because God bless daycares, because me working full-time virtually and my husband working full-time virtually, and then our 2-year-old is being, Nickelodeon Junior is her babysitter. And so I, every day, am struggling with the guilt when I have to log on for work, and we're working more than full hours. Like, I'm sure you've heard this, you're doing it yourself. I'm working more now than I was when I was at the office, and I was working a lot then, but I literally take the remotes and I'm like, Mommy's going to work now. And I go, Abby Hatcher, and it brings it up and I press play, and then I go to work, and then I'm like, don't call the police. You know what I mean? I feel like how a mom might feel if I was leaving the house and closing the door. I'll be right back. Don't move. Yeah. And so even though I could laugh about it, it's really stressful because I'm I'm not paying attention to my toddler. What is going to happen?
Yeah. I've been thinking a lot. I can't imagine. And our kids are 9 and 12 now.
Yep.
But I just think back to the occasional day where I had to work from home, 7 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it was just so hard with little kids.
It is.
So everyone who's doing it now, like this is not the way that we are supposed to work virtually. Like this is just not fidelity to the model. It's bad all around.
Yes, and if we keep this up, work will suck.
Yeah, exactly.
We need to figure out this situation and come together. And so at BRIC, what we've been doing is, we've been learning. We have what we call our virtual stoop meetings at BRIC House every week. The entire staff gathers together for a stoop meeting because we have this fantastic stoop in our building. So about 100 of us, a little more than 100 of my staff members, that's my staff team size, get together and we talk, and it's fairly quick. It's like a weekly check-in, and then we have a more robust one that's an hour long. But we've been doing these virtual stoops with the staff, and we've been kind of hearing about what works. And so I've been trying to build kind of quiet work time so that because what I found that was happening was just a constant stream of online meetings. So you were Zooming from like 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Yeah.
And then you're not working. You're just Zooming. And then you're like, oh, right, I live with people. Like I have a family. What are you people doing? And so we've now created quiet time. No, like lunch is sacred. Like let people eat with their families and afternoon. So we're figuring it out and we keep learning. And, my team they have no fear in telling me what is working and what is not working.
Yeah,
so,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You're really rooted in the Brooklyn arts community as well. What are you hearing from that community of artists?
It's hard. Artists, artists have lost their gigs. I mean, they depend. They're part of the gig economy, and a lot of the performing artists, visual artists who had either exhibition shows, just the artists that we were, lined up to present, everything's shifting. And I think, I really feel for the artists in our community. And so what we've been doing is transferring as much as possible everything that we were going to be presenting at BRIC House onto our, to virtual programming, and so that we can keep artists paid. So for instance, we're doing the poetry slam that we do with Mahogany Brown and Jive Poetic. That's the Brooklyn Poetry Slam started at BRIC. And so we want to make sure that, those folks continue to engage with us and that we're paying them for their work. And so we're just really trying to transition as much as possible and as it makes sense into virtual programming. But a lot of our peers, it's not good. It's just not good. The news it's really rough, especially those that are dependent on tickets and do massive productions and presentations. It's really not good. But we've all applied for every grant, every loan. We also, BRIC has a resource page on our website for artists that I know that there's so many resources being shared out there, but we have been keeping a list of resources for the field with a focus on artists. And we also have a resource list for our immediate community in downtown Brooklyn, Fort Greene area, so that people can see where they can go above and beyond arts and culture resources, but food services, home services. We've been trying to get all of that information and keep it in one place for folks to easily access. So
what does the transition look like for you in the organization? Because part of BRIC, you have a television studio, you have studios to stream podcasts, produce and stream podcasts. So you have some of that infrastructure that allows for this transition. But it's still a physical space where I imagine most people work there physically during the week. So what has this transition looked like over the past couple of weeks to be an almost or entirely virtual organization?
In the midst of this craziness, it really is in some ways an exciting moment for BRIC, because our board just approved our new strategic plan that guides the next 4 years of our work. And within that plan, there's a key focus on technology and the work that we're doing in the digital realm. And this has just fast-tracked. And I'm hearing that from some of my peers too, they're like, we were gonna do this, but we're doing it now. We had this slated for 2021, but so in many ways with BRIC, we've been in the media business for 40 years, but there has been an exciting moment for us as we've been rapid prototyping some of these online experiences that we're able to think about, and we're already learning about what's going to have longevity. And so we're really looking at our capacity, what we're capable of doing, and how we're going to continue doing all the things that we're learning about, that we're excited about. Something that happened right when when we started to go to remote work at BRIC that we really got excited about is the fact that because we're a broadcast center and a public access center, we're able to connect with television stations anywhere in the world. So of course you can do online YouTube, you can do Instagram Live and all of that, but we could actually patch you in to like MSNBC. We can do this live talk on television stations in countries. So an example of that is something that we piloted a few months ago with VP Records, where we did this celebration of their Reggae Gold moment for them. And at BRIC, we were able to be live in over 1 million homes on the island of Jamaica. Now that's a game changer, because people that have we're in about 1 million homes right now. A lot of those folks that we reach don't have access to high-speed internet. They're getting left behind. There's like a digital divide, right? There's a gap there. And so we really treasure the folks that are still accessing content in this way, through cable. And so we're thinking a lot about that digital divide. We're thinking a lot about how to make sure they don't get left out. We're ensuring that what we do live on Instagram or Facebook can be patched into the channels. We're looking at how we can continue to be of service with the Department of Education. Could we bring educational tools to channels, to kids who don't have high-speed internet and can't log on for school? So we're thinking about a lot of those things and having those conversations now.
Yeah. And you can prototype that right at home with your 2-year-old, right?
Well, if it was Abby Hatcher teaching the class, if it was an actual class, it would not happen. She's already given up on circle time. We did circle time every morning at 9:00 for 2 weeks, and it was great. And then one day she was like, and I'm done.
Yeah. Enough of the circle time.
No more circle time.
Yeah.
So, yep. That's how it goes. What are you guys seeing and learn? Like, what are you guys excited about? I mean, I love that Work Shouldn't Suck is now this wonderful experience, right? And so what's happening on your end?
You want to go first, Tim? You want me to go?
Come on, people.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, so I think, one, I mean, this has been hearing how everyone is sort of rapidly adjusting, rapid prototyping new things is, I just think it's such an opportunity. I know it's daunting and really, really hard.
Yeah.
But hearing how adaptive and nimble humans are and organizations can be, I think is fantastic. There are so many things that I hope organizations hold on to over the long haul. So that's really cool. And then I'm also thinking a lot about how our sector, the cultural sector, in so many ways exists to convene. And I'm really thinking through how do we translate for organizations that, might not be as tech savvy as a BRIC or as a Fractured Atlas. How do we do the knowledge transfer over the next, probably 18 to 24 months to help organizations continue to sort of meet their mission and the work they do convening.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just sort of, my brain is actually really excited right now.
Yeah.
I felt like I had hit kind of a boring patch at the beginning of this year. I was kind of like, oh, ho hum.
Right.
But yeah, for me, this has been a really energizing time.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It is that it forces us, right? Like it forces us to like show up in the world in a new way. And that is exciting. What about you, Tim?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed the daily conversations that we're having.
Yeah.
I mean, we started this sort of just a way to connect with people outside of, our homes, and at the same time, sort of a time capsule, if you will, for the time that we're living in. And I think back to 3 weeks ago when Jamie Bennett was our first guest, and all the stuff that
Jamie Bennett.
It was terrific.
Jamie Bennett.
It's like, but everything, I thought, we should check in with Jamie because like so much stuff has happened since we had that first conversation, and to talk through in real time with people who are leading organizations, people who are experiencing this in different ways around North America, and to engage with people who are around the world in the chat has been really meaningful experience. And to think what is next? How can we use this opportunity to hold on to the things that are really important to build that thing? And now that we've proven that you can get work done without someone watching you, and you can do things in a remote setting, how can we as organizations, as a sector, as country, as humanity, keep these things, and what do we need to do to make sure that we don't lose that once things start to open up again? And so that's been really exciting to sort of live in that space and talk to people about how do we co-create a future where everyone can thrive.
Yes, I love that. I'm here for that. BRIC is very much, our work is rooted in our, in thinking and behaving in that way. And, it's a simple thing, but it's exciting for us is when this happened, so many of our peers, because they weren't accessing technology in this way, we were able to work really quickly with my outstanding education team to create free classes online for other cultures and small business owners to learn how to use technology, whether it's do as mini doc on your iPhone, or it's edit this piece, and we got it, we made it free to folks. All of the Downtown Brooklyn Arts Alliance were part of it. It's just it's been really interesting. Another way for us to understand what people actually need. What are the tools that people need? What are they interested in? And to your point, how can we, continue to just be of service and hold some of these things far beyond, this crisis.
Yeah. Kristina, are those resources still available on your website?
They are
awesome.
On our website. So if you go to www.bricarts, thanks. Hey, now you guys are you guys are
high production value on this.
Hey, I appreciate it. bricartsmedia.org. You can see our calendar. And so on our calendar, and if you click on education, you'll be able to navigate and find a lot of the information there. Another thing that we did pretty quickly around mid-March was to launch a Creative Future Relief Fund, which was to raise money to support our transition to online programming, thereby helping us to continue to support artists and to keep our staff whole as much as possible as we do that transition. So our Creative Future Relief Fund is on our, you can learn more about that as well on our website that you so wonderfully popped up a second ago.
Nice. Kristina, you talked about earlier about your strategic plan that you had just wrapped up.
Yes.
And then how many pieces have just been tossed into the air that you thought were all sort of set, or how are you processing this now that you've concluded that and things have started to change, or maybe that they haven't?
It's interesting. I don't think there's so many pieces up in the air. I think that what this has done outside of the, fast tracking our exploration of what we can do digitally and how we present visual performing and media using new technology, we'll always present in our space. We have a beautiful space, 40,000 square foot space. That's not going away. You know what I mean? But I don't think there will ever be a moment again that we aren't simultaneously engaging people virtually while doing that. And I think that's true for many organizations. But what's exciting about this moment is that in many ways, it reinforces all the things that we've said in our strategic plan in terms of how our mission, vision, and values. And so just having that center us every single day, because at the beginning of this, I think people were all like, wait, you want me to talk to artists online? You want to do, it felt like a lot to process. My staff were like, what do you mean? Like, you want me to go virtual? How? Like, and then it was almost like they were like thinking of themselves as a new organization. Like, wait, we don't do this way. So it was hard outside of my media team. It was hard for my visual and performing folks to like process that. But the more that we just leaned into what we said we're about and our strategic plan as a guide, is the more it became really clear. everything's centered in the mission. So we're not changing that. We're just shifting how someone receives the information, accesses the resources, shares in the experience, you know?
Yeah.
So it really has rooted us. And I'm very thankful that we have that at this moment as an organization, because it's our landing pad, you know?
I think that piece about, and I have been thinking a whole lot about this, the accessibility upside to forcing people to offer everything with a, you know, of course we're all online right now, but moving forward for the rest of our lives, everything you do in real life, and not that this isn't real life, we're obviously here, but everything you're doing face to face, you should also have some sort of online component. And I just think the quality of, you know, thinking about live captioning, all of that, you know, transcribing things, the various modalities of learning, and especially adult learning and adult cognition, we're going to get so much more sophisticated on that right now. And that really like excites me.
You know, I met Tom Chi. Did you meet Tom Chi, Tim? Tim, did you meet Tom? No? Okay.
Tim, did you meet Tom?
Tim. Years ago, I was part of this Hive Global Leadership. It's like a massive gathering together of folks from all over the world for an intensive 3-day experience. And Tom Chi, he was the head of the Google X. And he talked a lot about rapid prototyping for community development. And I've just, you know, this is maybe now 7 years ago at this point, or 6 maybe. And he talked about doing being the best way of thinking and learning. And I just have loved that line. I know he's not the only one that says that. And we all know that because of our experiences to be true. I mean, how do you learn how to ride a bicycle? No one's going to YouTube. Okay. I was like, let me YouTube how to ride a bicycle. Yeah. So I love that. I live in that. And I recall that in this moment, because even though there's all kinds of things that we could be doing, we need to do a lot of things to learn. But I love that we are also kind of just like grassroots feeling our way through some of it and just having that immediate gut response and being able to share that with each other as we navigate the future. And we are blessed because we do have this extraordinary media team that they have so much knowledge and we can lead on them. But that idea of doing is the best way of thinking and learning is so true. And I'm actually really appreciating that right now.
Yeah. You do have some of the fanciest studios.
I know. I have some fancy studios.
I'm envious of BRIC Studios. You know,
listen. You could do Work Shouldn't Suck when we're all back together again. If you ever want to do it in the studio, you can come down to Fulton Street in Brooklyn and come and do it. You can get your visa, come to Brooklyn.
They are some fancy studios, Lauren.
I have never been, so
You've never been. We've got to get you from Albuquerque to Brooklyn.
Yeah, I feel like I've done my time in New York. Although I watched Ghostbusters last night, and I had a couple moments where I was like, "Oh, I kind of miss New York," and then I was like, "What's happening?
You miss New York.
What's happening?
What's happening?"
No one's ever done their time, and
I don't know. I know people think it's like really energizing as a city, but I think I need a slower pace.
You've been energized?
I think I need a slower pace. I need quiet.
Well, look, I appreciate that. I will say it's a big shift being in Connecticut right now. And even though I was living for so long in Connecticut, it's definitely such a shift. You know, there is such a wonderful energy and pace to Brooklyn. And I miss that. And I love that. And, you know, it's funny because I have these 2 kids. One's total suburbanite, my 10-year-old, and Charlie, the 2 almost 3-year-old, is total New York because she doesn't know, right? And even though she's 3, we were taking a walk the other day and I'm like, we're walking. And she's like, where we're walking? I'm saying, we're just going to walk around the block back to our house. She goes, we're going to Brooklyn? We're walking back to Brooklyn? And I'm like, no, baby, we're not walking back to Brooklyn. Can't walk there. Mommy's not that fit. But she doesn't know that. And Kendall's like, oh, I remember all these trees. But Charlie's like, get me back to Brooklyn. Yeah.
Well, Kristina, you've worked in a lot of different environments.
Yeah.
You've worked in government. You worked in art centers.
Yeah.
And probably, we talk about shorter bios. Probably your government titles are not helping out for shorter bios. It seems like you're just like, here's 18 words and this is your title.
Yes. Yes.
But what has the experience been like? Because you came from your role at the state of Connecticut to Brooklyn. And what's similar? What's different? Have you been talking to people at your former gigs and how they're adjusting or adapting to this new environment?
What's similar? What's different? Well, there's so much that is different. I mean, coming from, being the head of a state arts agency, and, you're living within and functioning within a very rigid government structure. And then I was also embedded in the Department of Economic and Community Development. I think that while there's so much different about how a state or a municipality, even before that, when I was working for the city of Hartford, there's so much different there compared to a nonprofit. There is a lot of similarities in terms of there's like a lot of similarities in terms of structure of thought, so to speak. So how are we caring? How are we adding value to our community? Mm-hmm. How are we dismantling barriers, thinking about barriers to access? How are we investing in the people that we are here to serve? All of those things that I was thinking about at the Connecticut Office of the Arts are the exact same things that we think about every day at BRIC, mm-hmm. right, as an institution. And I think that's really great. And so I think it's helped me too, because dealing with this crisis for me, I find that I'm a pretty high energy person at work. Like I know that's shocking, but I'm pretty high energy, but I've learned that when it comes to crisis, I actually slow down. And so that comes from my experience in government and watching mayors and governors and commissioners and other city, lead political leaders and leaders having to respond to crisis, right, time and time again. And so that has been some learning that has been helpful for me in this moment, to ensure that I'm not moving too fast, because you can move too fast. With all good intention, you could just move so fast you trip over yourself for no good reason, mm-hmm. right? And so right now, I'm lucky to have the team that I have, because we're being very paced and strategic. And while we're rapid prototyping a lot, we're still taking that time to be like, we don't need to rush for rush's sake, but we're going to do this because it's right and it feels right. And we're going to test it. We might fail or not, But so I think that learning for me has been great. At the end of the day, I love that I work in an organization that cares more about ourselves as an institution and really cares about community. And that's one of the core reasons why I packed up everybody and moved to Brooklyn, because BRIC truly is a part of the community that we're in. And you hear that from the people that come to us. So mm-hmm. I still very much feel like I work within community development. It's, does that make sense? I feel like I work within community development. I think BRIC is, not only did it start off as an early creative placemaking strategy. I know we didn't talk about ourselves that way, but BRIC literally started as a creative placemaking experiment in 1975 with BRIC Celebrate Brooklyn Festival. You think about it coming out of a mayor's office and looking at a place geographically, Prospect Park, at a time where Brooklyn was thought of as unsafe. And then they were like, okay, we want to use music as a catalyst for change and arts as a way to remind people of the beauty of their community. And with that, BRIC Celebrate Brooklyn was born. Yeah. That's creative placemaking right there. And so our institution just grew out of that. That's our genesis story. And so in many ways, community, being of service, and civic action is a part of who we are. And I just love that.
Yeah. Tim, was it Deborah Cullinan who gave us the suitcase metaphor?
I love her too.
She's great. Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah,
so I'm thinking about, she gave us a suitcase, and like right now you have a chance to sort of think about what you want in your suitcase. In terms of workplace practices or life practices, what are you leaving? And what are you taking with you? Or what
Yes.
you learned and you're bringing with you? If you
Yeah, I
were
love
packing
that.
the rest of your life suitcase right now,
Oh my God.
what's one thing you're leaving behind and what's one thing you're taking with you?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is such a tough question. Well, always take Spanx. Always pack Spanx. I'm just gonna say.
Thanks to your freebie. That's just your one freebie.
Thank you. Because gotta get those. Oh my God, the rest of my life suitcase?
Mm-hmm.
And I have to pack this
what's
right now?
What's the one thing? And we'll just like work, like it's work stuff. This, in theory is a work live stream.
Can I call a friend? Let's see. The rest of my life suitcase. Can it be? Can I? It's my strategic plan.
Okay, you're taking that with you.
I am taking that plan. That is an amazing plan.
Okay.
Because it wasn't designed by like me in my office over 2 weeks. You know what I mean? It was designed by our staff, our funders, our community, our audience. They designed that plan. And I'm excited about delivering with my team, excited to deliver on that plan. So that plan, because it's called the manifesto, people. It's a manifesto and strategic plan. We're bringing the positive back into that word. And so I'm going to take that plan.
You're taking that plan away from white shooters and making it positive again.
Absolutely. And
I think it's time.
I just put it on top of my Spanx and I'm closing the suitcase.
Okay.
That's my stuff right there. That's my plan. What did you take? What did you guys pack?
We didn't answer that question.
Oh,
We did.
great.
I'm
Now
still at
is
the-
the time.
I still think we should stipulate that it's a hard covered suitcase, not like a soft one, because then you can like really get a lot of stuff in there. You probably shouldn't take with you.
Your guys are gonna have to answer that. If not today with me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna YouTube every day and be like, answer the question.
Oh, we are out of time, Kristina. Wow, the time flies. Also, we are out of time. Do you have any parting thoughts for us besides that you're going to be making sure Lauren and I address this question before we close our live stream?
I think as my 2-year-old rolls her scooter beside me, I think that the artists have always reminded us of our humanity through their work. And when we reflect on our past, culture is what we reflect on. And I know that we're going to get through this moment. I know it. I feel it. And I'm so excited to have artists as a core part of our practice at BRIC. And they're definitely helping us see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I'm just going to say that I'm grateful for artists and creative risk takers across our country and our world right now because they helped to center me. And I'm grateful for the both of you.
Well, Kristina, we are grateful for you and grateful that you took time to spend with us. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Another shout out to our coworker Melando Jones, who has been live tweeting our Work Shouldn't Suck live episodes, and to each of you who have been joining us on this journey. We continue it tomorrow at 11 a.m. We keep this fun going with Dave Archuleta, the Chief Development Officer at New York Live Arts. Miss us in the meantime. You can download all of our previous interviews and episodes in podcasting form, transcript, YouTube, captioning, on workshouldn'tsuck.co. Don't forget to subscribe to give the episode a thumbs up. Until next time, thank you so much for being with us.